How's it going, everybody? Nerds Rising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we're going to take a look at one of the glassiest Pokemon in the Great League, and really in any league for that matter, and that is Chandelure. Now, Chandelure is so frail that if you just look at it the wrong way, it basically faints. So that can make it quite difficult to use, especially in the Color Cup meta where there's a ton of Mud Boys and Water types running around. So definitely tricky to use, but if you can get this thing a shield advantage, then you can absolutely destroy some backlines because it does hit extremely hard, especially in the Great League. So basically what you guys are going to see is me use this team to set Chandelure up for the sweep, and Chandelure does exactly that, and that is sweep team. So some very exciting battles. And if you are subscribed to me and you are wondering why I did not feature the Shadow Ho-Oh videos that I promised, then don't worry. In fact, they actually were featured by fellow content creator Calamon Toast, who honestly is a way better content creator than me, so I was more than happy to have them featured on his channel. So definitely head over there and check those out. Those are some very, very fun battles, this time in the Open Great League. So I will link that video in the description, and I will also have the link pop up somewhere above my head. So definitely check those out. And before this intro gets too long, we're going to just jump right into these battles. And basically this team is as ABB as it comes. As you see, double Ghost Fire in the back, and we are running Fire Blast on the Marowak as well. So basically Marowak's going to be luring out whatever their best answer to a Fire Ghost is, and usually that ends up being like a Whiscash or a Swampert. So we're going to jump right into these. And by the way, I did actually speed them up slightly. I noticed my last couple of videos have been pretty long. The last one was like 32 minutes long, which is way too long. So let me know in the comments if you like them sped up a little bit more like this one. So let's jump right into these. And this first battle, actually, I made a short out of, so you may have seen it. Pretty horrible situation. A shiny Cradillia, which is very cool, into our Quagsire. And if I switch out right away, then he can just Stone Edge my backline. So I actually count up to 4 Bullet Seeds, and I make a very nice catch of the Grass Knot onto my Awok. So this gives me some advantage because my Quagsire does have some energy stored, but unfortunately the opponent brings in a Pelipper, which is absolutely horrible. Fortunately, we can just barely tank this Weather Ball, and we will still get our Shadow Bone off, but really, this Shadow Bone's not even going to threaten a shield. The Pelipper knows he can live it and farm down, and that's exactly what he does, and he's going to come out here with some energy. I don't want to get hit with a Hurricane on my Quagsire. I'm going to bring the Quagsire back in after I wait my full clock, and I'm going to basically try to get the Stone Edge off right away, and unfortunately, he does CMP tie me, so very nice counting by the opponent, but I believe this should just be a Weather Ball, and it is a Weather Ball, and I know he's close to the back-to-back, so that's why I threw. I did want to just get rid of this thing right away, and unfortunately, we were not able to get our Chandelure shield advantage, so we're just going to have to hope that with 2 shields and the Incinerate Flame Charge combo, we can just ramp up and plow through this backline. So I bring it in, and the opponent is actually not switching out, and they're throwing a Grass Knot right away. I will respect it, just because, again, Chandelure is just so incredibly frail. A Grass Knot probably does like over half of our health, and we're going to just start ramping up as fast as possible, and they're shielding, and they're still staying in, so I'm thinking, oh boy, what's in the back? Can we get the Chandelure sweep? This time I actually call the Grass Knot. I know I kind of have to save a shield. Look at how much that does. Actually gets us into the red house, and if you notice there, the opponent is sacking an Abomosnows, a Shadow Abomosnows. We one-shot it with a Flame Charge, and now look at how much these neutral Incinerates are doing. The Incinerate goes through as they throw. We will just shield this up, and does the Incinerate KO? Yes, it does. What a crazy Chandelure sweep there, which really, honestly, hard countered on the lead and the swap, and Chandelure with 2 shields was able to sweep their backline. So very good game 1. And we're not faring a whole lot better here in game 2 as we were leading into an Abomosnows. So same plan as the last game. I actually build up again to a potential energy ball, and I'm hoping that they're not baiting it, that they're full sending it, and they are, and we catch another Grass move on our Marowak. So, and again, the opponent is hard countering us on the swap with a Lantern. So again, we're not going to be able to grab a shield advantage here because Lantern is very, very bulky. So really not looking good for us again whatsoever, because it's really nice on the safe swap with the Awok if we can at least get our Chandelure a shield advantage, and that does not look like it's going to happen, and we don't even make a second Shadow Bone, so this is just going absolutely terribly. We are going to try to farm up a little bit of extra energy here and hopefully come out with near a Stone Edge to threaten that Abomosnow. And I will actually let the second Surf go as well. Since it's a Spark Lantern, the Sparks aren't really applying too much pressure to me. So I farm up to 100 energy. I'm hoping that this Stone Edge will KO. And the plan is going to be to take this thing out, and it looks like a couple more mud shots are going to be needed, and we do just barely farm down, so that's very nice. And we're going to just send the Stone Edge on this Abomosnow right away, and hopefully this will give us the shield advantage that we're looking for our Chandelure. And do they respect it? They do respect it. And now here comes the Chandelure. What do they have in the back? And they have a Galvantula. They're double weak to fire. And now this thing is going to absolutely shred this poor backline. We do throw the flame. Look at that Incinerate go through. Oh my goodness, I was going to say we throw the Flame Charge right away. And that one Incinerate literally did like almost half of that Galvantula's health. And we actually undercharged the Flame Charge as well, just to BM the opponent a little bit. And we actually ended up winning that game with 2 shields, despite, again, a hard counter lead and a hard counter swap. So, crazy game there. And finally, in the third battle here, we get a decent lead. But this time, it's actually a Water Gun Lantern, so not as good for us. And the opponent safe switches into a Carnivine, so super cool. And I just kind of auto brought in the Chandelure, thinking, you know, grass into fire, but then I remembered at the last second that this thing actually has Crunch, so Crunch would probably be one-shotting 2 Chandelures here, so pretty cool pick by the opponent there. I do throw the Flame Charge, recognizing they would get to another Crunch, so at the very least, I'm going to have to go down 2 shields, but at the very least, I'm going to get one of theirs, and the Lantern's probably going to come back in and look for the farm down. But I'm thinking I probably can get this shield back because a boosted Shadow Ball would do so much damage. Because again, Chandelure is just incredibly attack weighted. So we do get their last shield. Unfortunately, could have baited. I'm not sure actually if I would have been able to get to the move if I would have baited. So that was the safer play. And the opponent has a Ferrothorn in the back. Oh man. So I banked the Earthquake there, and now all I have to do is just Fire Blast this thing, and I have the EQ loaded for the Lantern. So I believe they did bank nearly 2 Surfs, but it does not matter because Quagsire will win CMP. And I get to the Fire Blast. I undercharge it as well. And this thing, after a little bit of lag, still one-shots the Ferrothorn. I'm sure it would one-shot from full health. And I'm actually going to commit to the Fire Blast to BM on the Lantern, and I get there with like 1 HP. And if it wasn't over already, it is definitely over. Now, Fire Blast actually does a ton of damage, and we bring in the Quagsire, win CMP, and that is going to be another GG after a little bit of BMing there as well. So, GG to the opponent there. We had a good alignment that time, but really, anytime you win with Chandelure, it's a little bit of a flex on the opponent. So again, in the 4th battle, another Abomosnows, terrible situation to be in. We're going to play it the exact same way, build up to the Stone Edge, try to catch the energy ball. And was the opponent baiting this time? And they actually were. So a little bit worse. They're going to leave with a little bit of energy. And again, we are met with a Pelipper. So guys, really, this team is definitely for fun. There's just no reason to run Chandelure if you can help it, unless you're just trying to have fun, because I got countered so many times with this team, and actually, amazingly, went positive on the day. I think I played 25 battles with the team. So fortunately, we actually at least were going to make a second Shadow Bone, so this forces the opponent to dump their energy, and this should allow me, looks like now, I was going to say I should be able to overfarm a little bit if I wanted to, but it looks like I'm just going to play it safe and just get rid of this thing right away, and I actually get a shield, which is best case scenario. And I don't remember, I know I was counting in lifetime, I'm not sure if this is a Hurricane, if I was just calling it or just accepting that it could be a Hurricane, but either way, they actually bait, and we're going to get to another Stone Edge. So this is perfect. We've effectively now gotten ourselves a shield advantage, which is basically all we can ask for. So we have a shield advantage. We bring in the Chandelure. The opponent lets an Incinerate register, and then they bring in a Jellicent. And I have an energy lead here, so I am not going to be baiting. Does the Jellicent respect the Shadow Ball? And we one-shot it from nearly full health on the very bulky Jellicent, and the opponent top lefts. And that is another 2 shield flex and a Chandelure sweep. You love to see it. So GG again to the opponent there, overcoming another very difficult lead. And we are hopping right into the next battle here, into an Alolan Raichu. So actually not a very good matchup despite our type advantage, because this thing has Thunder Shock and it has access to Grass Knot, which would easily be one-shotting us. So what I'm going to do is trade shields here initially, and then I'm going to try at least to make a catch again on another Grass Knot onto my AWOC. So that's going to be the plan. Let's hope that the opponent throws right away, and they do throw right away. Did we catch the Grass Knot? And we catch another grass move onto our AWOC, so that's absolutely huge. And then the opponent brings in a Whiz Catch. So once again, our poor Alolan Marowak can just not catch any breaks at all on the save switch. But what you're going to see here is the opponent actually makes a pretty interesting decision. They actually elect to shield our Shadow Bone. That would do nowhere near probably even half of their remaining health, but they shield and they throw energy, so they're not even going to commit to the farm down. And this is massive because we can bring back in the Quagsire now, and Mud Bombs really just don't do too much damage, so we can easily tank a Mud Bomb. And then we're just going to throw the Earthquake and try to get rid of this thing and give our Chandelure a shield advantage once again for the endgame. So I built up to 100 energy. This actually may just barely not KO because Whiscash is very, very bulky. And yeah, actually looks like it's going to be even a pretty tough farm down. And then they bring back in the Raichu. So clearly whatever they have in the back does not necessarily want to see this Quagsire. So what's it going to be? I'm actually kind of wondering at this point, and they actually bring back in the Whiscash again. So now what I'm thinking is I'm going to tank this Mud Bomb, bring in the Chandelure, and get a 1 Incinerate head start. What's in the back? And it's another Abomosnow, another Shadow Abomosnow, and 3 Incinerates would have KO'd the Abomosnow, and the opponent once again is out of there. So GG's. Guys, I was blown away by the amount of Abomosnows that I was able to just melt with the Chandelure. It was so much fun. And once again, another Abomosnow lead. Guys, this team is just so hard to use. I just got countered so many times, and I lost so many leads. This time, actually, I say switch into the AWOC, and they bring in a Shadow Electivire, so very cool. And they actually call the Shadow Bone as well, which is insane. Crazy play by the opponent, and they full send the Wild Charge there. So basically what they were doing is just knowing they weren't going to be able to keep switch, and they just got themselves a shield advantage. So nice play by them, but unfortunately for them, they gave up switch, and they have an Abomosnow on the lead, which means that their poor Abomosnow is now going to be aligned to our Chandelure in the endgame, and they bring in a Charizard, and honestly, we can tank a Blast Burn here, so we're just going to no-shield this and save 2 shields for the Chandelure, because clearly they're saving 2 shields for their Abomosnow there. And that is not going to fare them very well. And actually, I guess we only have 1 shield, but it doesn't even matter. No amount of shields is going to save this Abomosnow from the Chandelure. And they actually are staying in. And you know what? We're not even going to respect this weather ball. We're just going to let it go and fully incinerate down. And I think the opponent even tried to top left there. But that time, the opponent loses the 2 shields. And once again, another Abomosnow is very, very sad. So GG to the opponent there. But saving 2 shields for you, Abomosnow, is not going to save you when there's a Chandelure in play. So Mantine lead, not really that great for us. Stone Edge obviously is going to do a lot of damage, but if they decide to commit shields, then this progressively becomes a significantly worse and worse matchup for the Quagsire, because Bubble Beams are just going to make these Stone Edges do very little damage. And as you see, the opponent actually does commit a shield on an early Stone Edge, and they're already at another Bubble Beam. So if I'm able to land a Stone Edge, it's already going to be double debuffed, which really isn't going to do that much damage because Mantine is very, very bulky. So I do throw the move just to hopefully get this thing closer to Shadow Bone range. And as you see, that doesn't even do half of their remaining health, which is crazy. So I'm going to tank 1 more move, and then I'm going to bring in the AWOC. And they're actually running Aerial Ace as their second move as well. So that doesn't even KO. And I bring in the AWOC because Bubble Beam really just doesn't hit very hard. So I think that they're still basically going to be in Shadow Bone range even after this Bubble Beam. So I farm up to 3 more Hexes for correct timing. I'm throwing the Shadow Bone here. I don't think this will quite KO, but probably 1 more Hex should. And I don't even get an Excellent there for some reason. So it actually might have KO'd if I would have gotten an Excellent. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to take another Bubble Beam there, which is not great. But I do have now a shield advantage for my Chandelure, and hopefully that Mantine was their best answer to a Fire type. So they bring in their own AWOC here, so clearly don't have the best response, and unfortunately I am double debuffed, so that doesn't do that much damage, but I think I should just barely be able to survive a Bone Club here, and I do on like 1 HP. If you look at my AWOC IVs there, this actually is a pretty high-ranked AWOC, and they actually survive my Shadow Bone on like 1 HP, and they have a Shiftry in the back. Oh no, opponent. They have a Grass type in the back, and we have 2 shields, and we get their last shield. So now 2-0 shield Chandelure can just come in and fully incinerate down the Shiftry. And once again, another top left by the opponent. I'm not keeping track of the top lefts in this game, guys, but there's been at least like 3 or 4 opponents that have surrendered to our Chandelure in the endgame, so you love to see it. And finally, a decent lead, and this is actually finally a Spark Lantern as well. So we've lost so many leads in this video, but we get a good lead here. So I build up to their second Surf, and I throw the EQ on the CMP tie. Do they respect it? And they do respect it. So we've gotten ourselves a shield advantage, which is perfect, and we're still not in Surf range, so I'm going to let this go. And I believe I should actually get to another EQ before they get to their third Surf, and I'm actually going to throw again on the CMP tie to force them to make the next shielding decision. Do they give up their last shield? And they don't, and we actually take out the Lantern. So we gave ourselves a shield advantage and switch advantage, but the opponent has a Trevenant Toxapex core in the back, which is, I'm sure you guys have already seen this in play. Very, very strong core. And now our Chandelure and Awok have a lot of work to do. So we bring in the Marowak, and actually this is not the worst situation for Awok because Brine, as you see, is a very bad move. So we actually are resisting the poison jabs as well here. So we can actually put in some decent work, especially since we're running Hex and Shadowbone. And as you see, this Toxapex is already in the red health, and he's forced to throw energy. So what I'm going to do here is now bring in the Quagsire. Actually, no, I'm going to bring in the Chandelure. I was going to say I was going to bring in the Quag to force him to throw, but I'm actually going to commit to a very aggressive Incinerate farm down on the Toxapex and leave basically with nearly 2 moves loaded. And now the Trevenant's coming back in, but this Trevenant is going to get double flame charged by the Chandelure, and that is going to be a GG. As long as the Shadow Claws don't take us out, but we do survive that Shadow Claw. We undercharge it to a nice, and we still KO the Trevenant from above half health, and 1 more Incinerate takes care of the Toxapex, and that's a GG on a pretty meta team on that guy, on that battle. So GG to the opponent, and I believe we have maybe 2 battles left. So I hope you guys are enjoying this so far, and we lead into a Swampert in the next battle. So kind of neutral. Swampert is just so spammy with the Hydro Cannons. Fortunately, we actually do get a 1 Mudshot head start. The opponent looks like they lagged a turn at the beginning. But this gets a little bit dicey because if the opponent double shields, let's say we don't bait and they double shield, they can actually win lead, get both of our shields, and then basically sweep our backline. So we actually do bait, but the savage opponent calls it, and that's really unfortunate. But then the opponent decides that it's a good idea to safe switch into a Ferrothorn. And Ferrothorn, guys, not a safe switch, because as you see, this Chandelure is just melting this poor Ferrothorn. And actually, they are going to get a shield from us, which is incredibly crazy that a basically fire type is forced to shield against something that it does double super effective damage against. But fortunately for us, we actually have 100 energy when we come out of here, and it looks like we may even get both shields back from the Swampert. So not a bad situation. We get both shields from the Swampert. Now we have a shield advantage, and we're going to just save 2 shields for our our Marowak in this battle. So we're going to EQ this Swampert. And what do they have in the back? They actually have an Alolan Golem in the back, so their backline did not want to see our Quag, and this EQ is easily going to be KOing this Golem. We're not even going to charge it up. We're just going to do a nice, and it still does like 3/4 of their health, and that's a GG. So actually, our Awok didn't even need to do anything in that battle. So GG, and I believe this is the last battle, guys. A Venusaur here, very, very bad for us. We bring in the Awok here, and the opponent is actually going to meet our Awok with a Wall Rain. So not a traditional answer to the Marowak, and I know that since this is a non-shadow, I can't actually live this EQ, and I do live it. And now I'm going to basically be able to guarantee myself a shield advantage. So I do actually bait here because I figured the opponent was going to expect the Fire Blast since I'm running Hex. And I wanted to do some damage to this as well, because this would actually be a little bit tricky for our Quagsire if they, say, shielded the Fire Blast and then left that matchup with a ton of HP. So now that this thing is very low, I can actually bring in the Chandelure and farm down and give our Chandelure an energy lead. So I respect the first one, knowing that they're not going to be able to get to an Earthquake and a Icicle Spear there. And once again, the opponent has a Jellicent in the back. Do they respect the Shadow Ball? They do respect the Shadow Ball, unfortunately. I was really wanting to one-shot another Jellicent, but we should be okay here because they have that Venusaur still, and all we need to do here is just use our Quagsire to take out this Jellicent, and then our Chandelure should be able to sweep the back line here. So they are sending the Surfs here. I'm not really too worried about shielding the Quagsire. I will be saving the shield for the Chandelure, and the opponent, I believe, was still switch locked in, but now their switch clock is actually up, but they're not bringing in the Venusaur for some reason. So this is great for me, honestly. I'm just going to let this go, come in, incinerate down this Jellicent, and we're going to have some energy to throw at the Venusaur in the Walrein. Unfortunately, they are going to get my last shield here, but this incinerate down is going to give us so much energy. And yeah, they're actually staying in as well, allowing us to farm them down. And now they have no shields to protect them from the wrath of the Candle in the back. They bring in the Venusaur. They actually make a catch here, but honestly, this is totally fine because that Venusaur is basically energy dry. So we can just flame charge the Walrein and then get to another flame charge. And we're going to flame charge the Venusaur. And once again, Chandelure sweeping teams for days, and that is going to be a good game. So that is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed some spicy double ghost fire action in the Color Cup. Again, I do not whatsoever recommend this team for climbing. These are the earlier season battles for me. As you see, I've only played 100 battles, and despite using only Spice to start off the season, we are actually sitting at 59 wins out of 100. So incredible win rate considering my last like 3 or 4 teams have been insanely spicy. So that being said, again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check my Shadow Ho videos out over on Calamontosis' channel. And basically, I think I probably will run some more Spice for like the next few days. And when I hit probably Ace, I will start maybe dialing back the Spice just a little bit. I'll still bring Spice, but just enough Spice to entertain you guys, but enough meta so that I don't get absolutely destroyed. So stay tuned for some more videos. And remember, guys, if you're not subscribed, consider doing so, because the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.